Hey, how's it going? Drew here over at our Tourist Cinema headquarters in Henderson, Nevada. And today I'm going to make a quick tutorial video for you guys. Anyone who's a content creator, business owner, entrepreneur, trying to put out more social media videos, but find the editing process and all that stuff kind of cumbersome, wanting to streamline it. How do you do it? Well, that's what this video is about. So, uh, first things first, what you want to get, my recommendation is get DaVinci Resolve. Get that going. If you're not using it already, it's free. There's pretty much no excuse. It's free. It's really good to use for these types of videos. And next, you'll want something like Photoshop or Canva. You could use Paint, but it's kind of a pain to do it this way. So at any rate, first step, you edit your video in the IG reel format. So that's going to be vertical, and automatically, right? Let me just mute the background. It's going to be like this. It's going to just come in here, right? It's going to be black. It's going to be in the center of the thing here. No sweat. Now, this is the fun part. So once you have it edited, use whatever transcribe software you want. You could use rev.com. They have a rough draft feature, which is like, I think, 25 cents per minute. It's awesome. It's very, very accurate, actually. And then you just import that SRT file when you're done, and it will make your subtitles. And at any rate, so once that is done, you go over to Canva or Photoshop, and you want to make a template. So you make a template. This is my template that I've made. This is you want to take a still from your video or a video that is the aspect ratio that you want, and you want to make sure it's center, obviously. And then what I like to do is make a guide, and that is a square, as you can see. Now, this is the fun part. So the reason I like using Photoshop, and again, you don't have to, is with 2 clicks, we go into gradient fill, which is the background, click on this, and let's say the next video, I want it to be, it's like a really, like, I don't know, mysterious topic, and I want it to be black and white. There you go. Bam, you got your black and white background here, gradient thing. Isn't that cool? So with one click of a button, you can change the background color. You could also do a solid color too if you don't want to do gradients. Just putting that there. So anyway, the way I do it is I do your logo, website at the bottom for your reel. You do your IG handle below where your captions are going to be. You do your headline, and some people like to get like really creative with it and do the emojis on each side. I had a client who loved doing that. That was like his thing. He's like, put the emojis, and it's like, hey, if that's your cup of tea, great, you know. And so that's a template. Save it, and then of course copy it, and then make the one for your video. So this is the one I made for this video. And this is what it's going to look like when you export it. Obviously, you want to turn off the still image. Obviously, you want to turn off the guide. And this is what it will look like. And just save it as a JPEG. So, in Photoshop, it's save a copy. And then you just choose JPEG from here, or PNG, whatever floats your boat. Now, the fun part. So you import it into your timeline. But remember, you want your video track or your video to be on the second track. You don't want it on the first track, right? So you import the picture and you stretch it out, and it will look like this. Pretty neat stuff. I mean, okay, real exciting, really fresh, right? So now this is pretty cool. So you import your subtitles afterwards. I like to do it afterwards. I guess it doesn't technically matter the order, The subtitles are always going to be on top. So, and in Resolve, so important thing to note is in Resolve, when you import the SRTs, right, they're going to be usually not formatted the way you want. It's usually just they're too big. So you go into Style, you go in here, and then you just change, right? You just change the size and the font. I like doing semi-bold personally, and you get it how you want, right? So this is how I want it, like this. All right, pretty hip, pretty fresh in my opinion, and that's pretty cool. So and then zoom out, and then I'm gonna go ahead and do this, like that, with that, and your video is done, right? Obviously, you want to go through it, make sure that the subtitles, because sometimes depending on what service you use, the subtitles, like some lines will be too long. You know what I'm saying? Kind of went out of the margin, you know what I'm saying? So just I would just play it through to make sure the subtitles are the way you want. Then this is the super fun part. Once that's all done, we export this. And again, you're going to get 2 pieces of social media content out of this one video. And how do you do that? Well, the first thing you want to do is create an MP4 version. This is going to be for Instagram, right? So these are great settings. You want 10,000 gigabits or 10 megabits per second. And then you want to make sure, this is very important for Instagram, and in Instagram only, you need to burn in your captions. And remember to do captions or check subtitle, because I forget to check it sometimes. Anyway, and then you want your audio to be 192, and then obviously title your video, and choose a location. Another cool thing you can do in Resolve is you can make a subfolder. So for each of the topics, you could do a subfolder, right? Anyway, so you hit add to render queue, and I've already exported this for the sake of teaching this. Anyway, so you queue the MP4 version, and then you do a QuickTime version, and I'll explain why in just 2 seconds here. So you do a QuickTime version. You want to go audio, linear PCM, which is going to be the best audio quality. Then you want to go quality for the QuickTime and make it best. That's very important. Best, the best you can get. And then when you export the QuickTime file, you want to make sure that the subtitle is as a separate file. Make sure it's SRT, and this is very important. You have to hit subtitle 1, which is your subtitle track. Hit add to render queue, right? And it'll export both those versions. You wait, grab a cup of coffee, grab some tea, talk to your spouse, whatever. Go back to edit. Now we go and finally into our square timeline that we've made. And what we're going to do is, this is the magic. This is where the QuickTime is going to live, right in here. And let's import that. So let me import that really quick for you guys. It's in here. And hover over it, and it will tell you which one's the QuickTime. No big deal. And when you make this square timeline, make sure that when you go into your timeline settings here, right, that you want to go, it's under timelines, you go timeline settings, make sure center crop, no resizing is selected. Very, very important. Very, very important for the square video. So now that we have the video here, which I actually think I just seem to have lost. Oh, there it is. So now you just simply just drag and drop. Technical difficulties. There we go. So now we've dragged and dropped, and the reason you want the subtitles a separate file, I'm going to explain why. So for this square version, remember, this square version of your video, okay, and as you can see, it's perfectly square. This is going to go on your LinkedIn, your Facebook, whatever. In those platforms, you can upload the SRT. So you don't need to bake in the subtitles. So that's why we did the QuickTime that way. So now, there we go. We got our square format video. Go in here, go to MP4, and you want to, 1080 by 1080, and then H.264. And since we already used the QuickTime to export the SRT, we don't need to do it again. So you can uncheck that, no problem. And then, yep, and there you go. And then you add that to the render queue. And then of course you want to rename it. You want to do like, I misspelled social. That's funny. And then you would do like, I usually do underscore, and then you would do like square, or you could do Facebook, like whatever, and kind of just delineate or whatever the two, so you can tell them apart. And that's pretty much it. And then you export the square format, and then you have two pieces of social media content that you can upload. You have your square, and then it's super simple to do that. And just really quick, let me show you an example. So if we go to LinkedIn, let's say I want to upload this. You go in here and select your video, right? And oh, it's not letting me show you. But basically, right after you upload your video to LinkedIn or Facebook, it will, of course, show you the video, and then there was an option to add subtitles, and then that's where you will find your SRT file, and then you just add the SRT file, and then you're good to go. So at any rate, thanks so much for checking out this video. If you have any questions for this process or anything like that, or if you need help setting up, please let me know. I'm more than happy to help you. But this is how I do these types of videos. And doing it this way saves you a lot of time because you don't need to do 1,000 tracks or layers, right? You just make those templates in Photoshop or Canva, and you could do them ahead of time too. If you know at a time, which I recommend, kind of planning ahead for the week or the next week what you're going to talk about. You could do it that way, and then just import them, and then you're ready to go. So thank you again. Guys, have an awesome rest of your day.